Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We are working on our garbage truck build. So in yesterday's video we made the arm, we made the main arm go up and down. Now we want to make these claws go up and down. Was it just one weld? Okay, and then I needed to have a weld on the hitch. Was the hitch welded? That was welded, but the hitch is not welded. So the hitch, same thing. We could just have to go model, create, weld, and we can actually weld it to the upper arm. Wait. That's right. We have the lower lock already. So in the code, so here we unlocked the upper lock and then we locked it again. So it's going to be the same thing here when we press down and left and right. So we need down, stop. So let's get that in here. Let's finish that in here. So we have up, stop, down, and this is going to be user input ended. And that way, when we stop pressing the button, it's going to stop inputting the data that we're pressing the button. If you don't say input ended, it's going to think you're holding the button down. And that's something we don't want. So this will be up lower. All right, and then in here, we want to say, and then we want this down stop. All right, so then down stop, what do we want it to do? Well, we want to say script.parent dot lock lower dot enabled equals true, and then we'll copy this there. And now it turns off when we pull the button down, and then it turns on again. Except this would be lock upper, because this is the main arm. All right. This is the main arm here. And then this is the lower part of the arm there, and that way should be a little bit easier to understand. So, okay, let's quickly get the last two. So let's just duplicate this one. And duplicate that one, but it's going to be up lower stop. And down lower stop. Okay, so what we need to do is make sure that's set up. All right, up, down, left, right. Now on here, the first thing we want to do is we want to say script dot parent dot lock lower dot enabled equals false. And we just make that true, and then we just get rid of this. Down lower, up lower, and then down lower, that's right. And then this one here will be same thing. Yeah. There we go. So now, when we don't use the thing, there we go. It's locked and welded into place, so if we're driving down the road, this isn't going to bounce, and that's not going to bounce. It's all going to be held together. Oh. Yeah, I mean, you could just, you know what, there's probably a better way of doing this. Okay, so rather than making it so that way when we press it, it just goes a little bit. We could change it, like, so there's two differences here. So we can either tell it to go to a target angle, or we could set the target angle and then change the speed. So, right, like right now the angular speed is 1. We could set that to 0, and we could set that to 0 here. So then in here we could say script up here, the target angle, we could say equals 90. And then, is it 90 for the upper? Yes. And then we can also say script dot parent dot upper dot angular speed equals 2. And then when we stop holding the button, it's going to lock it. Oh, actually, let's do this. It's gonna do that, and then it's gonna lock it. So we'll do that for the up. You know, let's do that for the up and for the down. All right, we can try that, and then this here, target angle will be 0. And that way, when we get inside the truck, see, it's a bit fast. The speed is a bit fast. But now, so long as you hold the button, it'll go all the way up. And then when you stop holding the button, it will stop going up. That's better than having to press the button a whole bunch of times, because that's just going to frustrate people. But again, right, we're just setting up the truck. So that's why it's important when we're just setting up the truck, you know, we want to test these things out. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Now, instead of 90, I think we need to change that upper angle. Maybe to like 130. Oh, it's restricted to 90. Yeah, that's probably better. And then the garbage will fall out of here into the chute. Okay, so the next thing we need to look at is these, because you see how they're separate? That's actually really good. There's two parts to the piston. Let's see, before we work on the piston, let's actually finish this. So then we'll do the same thing for the lower. For the lower one, we are going to say, we're going to change this to whatever the target angle is on the lower, minus 90. And then we want to say script.parent.lower dot angular speed equals 1. There we go. And then it's the same thing, except this is going to be 0. Yeah, I guess if we just keep the target angle, we could just say 0 for that. Well, because then it's going to want to move, you know? If we keep the target angle the same as that, then it's not going to go down. It's going to try and continue to go up. All right. Or we can find a way to measure the current angle to make it the current angle of the variable. We could do that also. Let's see. Now here, it's going to do that. Except this target angle is going to be 0. And this is going to be 0. Let's see if that works. Perfect. As long as I'm holding it, it goes up, and when I release it, it goes down. Now that's a lot smoother. Yeah, that's a lot smoother. So the next thing we need to do is this. Let's work on the pistons. Now these are going to be can't collide false. And what I want to do is I want to take we're going to make a prismatic. I guess it doesn't really matter where it is. And we're going to go from here to here. That doesn't matter either. Okay, and then we're going to rotate this. And rotate this. And this position. Oh, let's see, minus 11, let's flip this one, and then where's the other attachment? Put that one there. Alright, I don't think it's 11. All right, we'll see how that works. Okay, so we have our prismatic. Let's just put this in the drive seat just for now. Eventually what I'll do in the end, we'll put these in a folder and we'll call it constraints. And then that way we'll have to change the code to reference the folder. But for now, we're just going to do it this way. So if we make it a servo, and we say limits enabled, and we want its target position to be maybe -5. That might work. Upper limit is 0. Lower limit is -5. Or is it 5? Nope, -5. Alright, let's just see what happens with that. Nothing, probably because it's anchored. So we'll take this part here and we'll unanchor it. Did it disappear? Oh, I didn't disappear. It didn't disappear. We have to put this inside miscellaneous now. Oh, okay, now it should work. Ooh, that's pretty cool action. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to divide. We've got to do some math. Uh-oh. Got to do some math. We need to take 130 and we need to divide that by 5. And that gives us 26. So for every 26 degrees, this needs to go in by 1. I wonder, okay, so I wonder how we can... So, let's try this instead. Let's try this instead. When we press up, let's say script.parent.prismatic constraint, okay? And we're going to say .speed equals 1. Let's see how that looks. Not quite. It has to be a little bit faster than that. Let's see the other way. The other way. Yeah, that can kind of work. I know it's not really connected there, but it just sort of gives us the impression that it's working. That didn't work. Change its target position. Let's see. -2 doesn't work for the speed? No. Oh, so we'll have to change it. Okay. So we have to say script.parent.prismatic constraint. dot target position equals -5, and so that, and then here we could say equals 0. That might be better. Yeah, that's cool. It's kind of in sync. You know, I mean, it's just a game, right? Like if I could, the thing is, I have to put this on a hinge, on a pivot. I have to put that on a pivot and hope that it all works together. And that might be a little tricky to do. Yeah, that's pretty good. You know. All right, so the hydraulics kind of work. What else can we do to this thing here? Ooh, so the container is its own. Nice. The container is its own thing. So, maybe we want the container to dump. So for that, we need a... Oh, yes. The other thing we want to do before we do this is we want to weld. We want to take that and we want to weld that to there. And we're going to call this lock. Piston lock. So let's do this. Let's do this and this and this and this and this and this. And let's group it in a folder. And we'll call this actions. And then in the code, we'll have to do that. It's just going to make this so much easier as we continue to add to the model, to keep track of what we're adding. There we go. Okay, so then we have the piston lock. So what we need to say is script.parent.actions .piston lock .enabled equals false. And then here it needs to be true. And here true. All right, perfect. Okay, now the next thing, let's save this. Now the next thing we want to do is to get this working. So we'll take the container, we'll put it into miscellaneous for now. And we are going to create a hinge. Now, where we want this thing to pivot is entirely up to you. We could make it so it pivots there, for example. You know, something like that, where the pin is. Perfect. Okay. Same thing. Take the hinge, put it into actions. We're going to call this dump. And then we need to create a weld. And we need to call this dump block. And we'll put that into actions. Okay, so may as well bind a key to it. I don't know. Let's bind the M key as our custom key for dumping. So then, let's see. It'll go up and dump. We could have two buttons. We could have N and we can have M. I don't know. I'm just looking at the keyboard. I'm just thinking, like, what could we use? One to make it go up and one to make it go down. That's kind of what we're doing here now. We're starting to bind keys while you're sitting in the vehicle, right? So this will be dump, dump up, and dump down. So this is going to be key code M, and this will be key code N. Now, obviously, we'll have, this is just while you're sitting in the vehicle. So now what we also want to do is we want to end our inputs. We could say dump up, stop, and then we could say dump down, stop. We could say dump. Like that. And that way when you hold it, it'll do the action. When you stop pressing it, it'll stop doing the action. So now in here, we need to create the variables. We're going to say if variable is equal to then, and the variable we need is dump up. Script.parent.actions dump block enabled equals false, and then we need to figure this out, the hinge. So let's make the dump block false for now. We'll set this to the servo, limits enabled 45 and probably 0. Let's see if that goes. Target angle. Alright, so it needs to be the other way. Perfect. Or not so perfect. Looks like we're a little out of alignment here. Yeah. There we go. Now it's a mesh, and that's why you can see through it in the way it is at these angles. So what you'll need to do afterwards, or what I'll do, is I'll put a part there, and I'll put a part in there, just so it's hollow, like maybe just a box or something. Alright, so now it dumps. So now what we need to do is we need to enable that. We need to take this, and we need to say angular speed 0, target angle 0. So then when it dumps, we want to say script dot parent dot action dot dump dot target angle equals 45, and then we want to say script dot parent dot actions dot dump dot angular speed equals 1. Perfect. Now this will be up stop. Then this angular speed is going to be 0, and we're going to take this. So it stops, and then we lock it. It just tries to make smoother action on it. So we'll do that, and then dump. Is it DWM? Yeah. All right, so let's try that. M should make it go up, and N should make it go down. Cool. That's cool. So I mean, as you can see, like there really isn't too much to making vehicles and getting the models working. Like sort of once you kind of have an idea of what you want, it's just a matter of being creative. And just like I say, we just need a little bit of code and a couple of constraints, and now we have ourselves a cool looking truck. And then of course the last thing that we need to do now is we just need to finish setting up a chassis. So we need to finish setting up the lights in the body. We need to finish all that sort of stuff, and that's why I have the drill truck, is because the drill truck we've already set up. So I can just take the code from here, and I can put it directly into here. The brakes, the headlights. What else do we need? Left, reverse, and right. Now, in one of my trucks, I have a beeper for the reverse. I don't have it on these trucks, but I'll grab it and I'll put it on here. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is what we did on for that truck. So I would even go into the headlights. And honestly, you could just duplicate that. Put that into here. Just change the welds. Yeah, there we go. We got headlights. It really is this easy. It really is this easy. That into the highlight. All right, and then let's get the rear lights here. Let's get is that reverse? Now in this case, there's square on here. Looks like one of them's kind of busted out. So that's kind of that. Reverse. What do we got? What take the brakes to? Why not? So you kind of get the idea here. Now we're able to, we can modify these a little bit. We'll put that there. All right. Well, when I select the body, it's way over there. And I wonder if that's, if I took this and its position, and then we said body, and we took its the world pivot, and we make it there. There we go. Okay, so let's just play this and see. G1. Oh, because I got the code in there, but I don't have the model G1 in there. Okay, something's up, something is up with this model. And some welds. Welds were still attached, so it thinks that both the models is one. Yeah, there we go. So now if I back up, yeah. That's so cool. I like it. Oh, that's the transmission. M is the transmission. See, I knew there were some other keys that were bound there, so that's why sometimes I hesitate to bind some keys to it, but there we go. Yeah. Down goes the trash. All right, and now we need a button to disconnect that. So, yeah, we need a button to disconnect the trash bin now. We're almost there. We're almost there. Probably what I'll do is inside the cab. Let's see what kind of I'll just bind a key. I'll just bind a key. Let's bind the B key. That sounds a bit odd, I know. But let's bind the B key. B, where are we at? Holy cow, 45 minutes. And we'll bind the B key to remove bin. And then this will be remove bin. There. And we'll say if variable is equal to and I could I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, remove bin, then where does it weld it to? Where does it weld it to? So we have to find this part here and script of parent. So we could say script of parent, the parent dot drive seat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Dot drive seat dot actions is where we could put the weld, and it's going to be called bin weld. All right. So then what we need to do is we need to search for this. We need to say script dot parent dot actions find first child bin weld. We need to say local bin equals. All right, so we say if bin, then bin remove. Alright, and that should happen when we press the B key. And then I'm just ending the input. So that second one there is just to end the input. It doesn't have to fire anything, it doesn't have to do anything. All it has to do is just say, okay, I've stopped pressing the B key. And then what it'll do, then what it'll do is it will turn on this script. So what we then need to do is say this one here. We can use this variable actually. Let's see. Then script dot parent dot misc dot model dot part. What was it in the dot connect strip dot enable equals true. But what it's gonna do, it should wait 10 seconds. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and that should give us enough time to back away from the bin. So we're connected to the bin now. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right. Then we need to make this invisible. All right, and then after that, we could add like a side loader, a side arm if we want to, and it would work exactly the same as this. You approach the bin, it welds it, it comes up, it tips the bin, brings it down, and then you release it. That will be probably for the next video. We'll have to find like a loading arm or something for it. But I mean, that's basically it. Next, we need what? A leaderboard. We'll need a garbage dump where we can take the garbage to. And then we just need a neighborhood and some businesses with garbage bins in them. And that's one part of it. And the next thing we could do is we could add some tools. You know, like we could add a broom, for example. I've seen in some games where people have the brooms, and then they're able to sweep up the trash with it. So when the broom comes in contact with the trash, it removes the trash. You know, so there's all that kind of stuff that can be done too. Well, that is a lot of parts in the broom that aren't welded together. Oh boy. Now I wonder if I can union it. I don't know because it has the decals in it. If we can. Oh, you know, all these parts I can union. But I don't know if we can. Oh, we can. There you go. Oh, wait. Oh, that's the bristles. We can union that together, but we can't union the bristles together. Gotcha. This is how we're going to end the video. We're going to be making a broom. Right, then we'll need to put a handle on here. Make it into a tool. Test it so we have it equipped. We could even make a sweeping animation for it if we wanted to. So when you activate the broom, it plays an animation where the character sweeps. We could do that. We'll do that in the next one, I think. That'll be fun. Other than that, there really isn't much else to this. We need a shop, maybe. A main base of operations for the where we can get missions. We can get garbage truck missions. You know, go and empty this garbage. So what I always did for that is I kind of made it like free form. I suppose I could make a mission interface and stuff for these. Why not? Cool. All right, that's our broom. Put that into miscellaneous. What's it, bud? Your belly? Your belly probably want some brekkie. You probably want some brekkie. Alright, I gotta get the cat some breakfast. Cool, so we got our rooms on there. We got our accessories. There, we got our little garbage truck. It does what we want. It dumps. Okay, I'm done. I gotta go feed the cat. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. I'll see you all in the next one.